My fiancé's brother stole our honeymoon fund, a family betrayal story. I thought saving for our honeymoon would bring us closer together. But when my fiancé's brother stole the money, the dream turned sour. When Daniel slipped the engagement ring onto my finger under the glow of fairy lights, I thought I had finally won at life. We weren't rich, we weren't glamorous, but we were building something real together. The kind of love you could trust. That ring wasn't just a promise of marriage. It was a promise of partnership, of standing side by side through every challenge. But dreams don't come free. We both knew that. Weddings were expensive, life was expensive, and a honeymoon was the kind of luxury we had to claw our way toward. So we came up with the idea of the honeymoon fund. It started small. A few dollars here, a handful of change there. We kept it in a sturdy little lockbox Daniel bought at a thrift store. It wasn't much at first, but as the months rolled on, it grew. Every spare bill, every overtime check, every birthday card with a 20 tucked inside. Into the box it went. The ritual of it became my favorite part of our week. Every Friday night, after dinner, we'd sit cross-legged on the bedroom floor with the lockbox between us. Daniel would hand me the key, and I'd pop the latch open with a satisfying click. Together, we'd pull out the bills, stack them, and count them slowly, savoring the sound of paper against paper. We didn't just count, we dreamed. "Picture it," Daniel would say, grinning as he flicked through the bills. Us in Bali. Sunset cocktails, warm sand between our toes. Or Paris. I'd counter, closing my eyes. Walking along the Seine at night, lights twinkling, music drifting out of cafes. He'd lean closer. Or Tokyo. Ramen at midnight. Neon everywhere. An adventure around every corner. We laughed, argued playfully, and made promises to visit them all one day. That box wasn't just money. It was hope made tangible. Every bill a tiny brick in the foundation of our future. But hope, I would learn, can be stolen. Ryan, Daniel's older brother, was the kind of person you wanted to believe in but knew you shouldn't. He had charisma, that effortless smile that charmed strangers and disarmed suspicion. But beneath it was recklessness, late rent, sketchy business ventures, and favors that never seemed to get repaid. When I first met him, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Family mattered to Daniel, and if Ryan was important to him, then I wanted to at least try. But over the years, I noticed the patterns, the conveniently timed emergencies, the guilt trips, the grand promises that never materialized. And Daniel, he loved his brother too much. He excused him, defended him, enabled him. I told myself it wasn't my place to interfere. Until it was. The night Ryan showed up, I should have trusted my instincts. He strolled into our apartment like he owned it, tossing his jacket onto the chair, a six-pack of beer under his arm. "Big night for me," he announced with a grin, flopping onto the couch. "Got an opportunity of a lifetime. Just need a little help to get it rolling." I froze. Opportunities, from Ryan, usually meant disasters in disguise. Daniel sighed. "What kind of opportunity?" Ryan leaned back, smirking. "Don't worry about the boring details. It's a sure thing. I just need a small loan. You'll thank me when I triple your money." I crossed my arms, my chest tightening. "We don't have extra money lying around." His grin widened, sly and knowing. "Sure you do. The honeymoon stash. I know you've been saving. What's a couple hundred to family?" The room turned to ice. My stomach dropped. "How do you know about that?" I demanded, my voice sharp. Ryan shrugged casually. "Daniel mentioned it once. No big deal." I whipped my head toward my fiancé, my voice trembling with anger. "You told him?" Daniel's face flushed red. "I didn't mean to. It just slipped out. I wasn't thinking." But Ryan wasn't backing down. He leaned forward, his eyes glittering with desperation disguised as confidence. "Come on, I'm your brother. Don't you trust me? Give me a chance, and I'll make sure you're sipping cocktails on a beach in no time." I shook my head fiercely. "No, that money is ours. We've sacrificed too much for it to vanish into one of your schemes." Ryan's smile faltered, irritation flashing across his face. He stayed late into the night, trying every tactic, charm, guilt, even outright begging. He painted himself as the underdog, promised quick returns, accused us of not believing in him. But I stood my ground. Daniel, caught between us, looked torn in half. Finally, Ryan stormed out, slamming the door so hard the picture frames rattled. I thought that was the end of it, that we had protected our dream. I was wrong. The next Friday, Daniel and I settled onto the bedroom floor as usual. I felt light, relieved even, thinking we had survived Ryan's storm. The lockbox sat between us, solid and reassuring. I slid the key in, turned it, and lifted the lid. My breath caught in my throat. The box was nearly empty. Where once there had been thousands, only a few sad bills remained. I fumbled through them, panic rising, praying it was some cruel mistake, that maybe we'd moved the money without remembering. But no, the truth stared back at me. Our honeymoon fund was gone. Daniel's face drained of color. No, this can't be. I looked at him, my voice trembling with fury. The only other person who knew about this was Ryan. His silence spoke louder than words. In that moment, rage consumed me. Not just at Ryan for stealing, but at Daniel for letting his brother so close, for giving him even the faintest crack in our defenses. That lockbox hadn't just held money, it held our dreams. And now it was nothing but an empty shell. And somewhere inside me, something else cracked, too. I didn't sleep that night. The image of the half-empty lockbox replayed behind my eyelids again and again, each flash a stab of betrayal. Every hour we had worked, every indulgence we had denied ourselves, every dream we had folded neatly into that box, it was gone. Stolen. By morning, my grief had hardened into fury. "We're going to Ryan's," I said flatly, standing in the kitchen with a mug of untouched coffee. Daniel rubbed his temples, his eyes bloodshot. "We don't know it was him." I slammed the mug down so hard coffee sloshed over the rim. "Don't you dare defend him. Who else even knew? You let it slip, Daniel, and now it's gone." "He took it." Daniel flinched. He wanted to argue. I could see it, but deep down he knew I was right. His silence was an admission. So, that afternoon, we drove across town to Ryan's cramped apartment. The blinds were half shut, a faint thump of bass vibrating through the walls. My heart pounded as I banged on the door. It swung open to reveal Ryan, hair mussed, eyes wide in mock surprise. Well, look who's here." I shoved past him before he could play host. "Where is it?" He blinked innocently. "Where's what?" "Don't play dumb. Our honeymoon fund. You knew about it, and now it's gone." "Where is it, Ryan?" Daniel lingered by the door, his hands stuffed into his pockets, his face a storm of guilt and dread. Ryan leaned against the wall, folding his arms. "You think I stole from you? From my own brother?" He laughed, sharp and cruel. "Wow, that's cold." I took a step forward, my voice shaking with rage. "Don't insult me. We both know you're capable of it. So either hand it back, or explain why our future just went up in smoke." Ryan's eyes hardened. "I didn't take your money." My jaw tightened. "Then why are you suddenly flashing cash around? New shoes, new watch? You've never had 2 pennies to rub together, and now you're conveniently living large." Daniel finally spoke, his voice quiet but edged with desperation. "Ryan, please, just tell us the truth." For the briefest second, something flickered in Ryan's eyes. Guilt, maybe, or fear. But he masked it quickly with a smirk. "I told you, I didn't touch your stupid box." I turned to Daniel, furious. "This is your brother. Your problem. You need to decide whose side you're on." Ryan sneered. "Oh, here we go? The fiancé versus the family. Classic." Daniel's jaw clenched. "It's not about sides, it's about right and wrong." "Right and wrong?" Ryan scoffed. "Where was that when you left me stranded last year? Or when you wouldn't loan me rent money? Suddenly, you're Mr. Morality." The argument spiraled, brother against brother, years of resentment boiling over. I stood in the middle of it, feeling like I was watching my life crumble in slow motion. Finally, I snapped. "Enough. If you didn't take it, prove it. Show us where you got the money for all this." Ryan's smirk faltered. He glanced away, rubbing the back of his neck. That was all the answer I needed. "You're pathetic," I spat. "You didn't just steal cash, you stole our future. Our honeymoon, our dreams, everything we sacrificed for. You don't deserve to call yourself family." Daniel's voice cracked. "Ryan, how could you?" Ryan's mask slipped thin, his face twisted with bitterness. "Because I'm sick of being the screw-up little brother. I wanted a chance. Just one. You two get everything. Love, stability, hope. And I get scraps. So yeah, I took it. And I don't regret it." The confession hung heavy in the air, poisonous and irreversible. I felt the ground tilt beneath me. "You don't regret it?" I whispered. "Do you know what you've done to us?" Ryan shrugged, almost defiant. "You'll survive. You've got each other. Me? I've got nothing." At least now I've got something. Daniel looked shattered, torn between the brother he loved and the woman he promised a future to. His silence was unbearable, so I made the choice for him. "We're leaving," I said coldly. I grabbed Daniel's arm and pulled him toward the door. He resisted for a moment, looking back at Ryan with hollow eyes. But I didn't let him linger. Not when my whole world had just been gutted. The car ride home was silent. The city blurred past the windows, but all I saw was that empty lockbox. All I heard was Ryan's bitter confession. Finally, Daniel whispered, "I'm sorry." Tears stung my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. "You should be. You gave him the power to destroy us." He gripped the steering wheel tighter. "He's my brother. I never thought." "That's the problem," I cut in. "You never thought. And now we've lost everything." That night, I sat alone in our bedroom, staring at the lockbox on the floor. The few bills left inside mocked me. I thought about the trips we'd imagined, the nights we spent dreaming of beaches and cities we'd never see. I thought about the sacrifices, the nights I'd worked double shifts, the dinners we skipped to save money. All of it gone. But the worst part wasn't the theft. It was the silence between Daniel and me. The wedge Ryan had driven straight into the center of our love. For the first time since our engagement, I wondered if we were truly ready for marriage. Because love could weather many storms. But betrayal, from within the family, was a hurricane, and I wasn't sure we'd survive it. The days that followed felt like living inside a shattered glass dome. Everywhere I turned, there were sharp edges, reflections of what had been, and reminders of what we'd lost. The lockbox still sat in the corner of our bedroom, half empty, mocking me. I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. It had once symbolized hope, teamwork, and the promise of a bright future. Now it was a reminder that even the strongest walls could be breached if you let the wrong person inside. Daniel tried to fix things. He hovered constantly, cooking meals, offering hugs, whispering apologies. But no matter what he did, I couldn't shake the image of him carelessly letting our secret slip into his brother's hands. "This isn't fair," I said one night, pacing the kitchen. "We worked so hard, Daniel. Do you realize how much I sacrificed? The hours, the exhaustion, the nights I cried because I was too tired to keep going? And now it's all gone because of him." Daniel looked at me with hollow eyes. "I know, and I hate myself for it." "Then do something," I snapped. "Confront him again. Demand he give it back. Call the police. Anything. Just stop sitting here drowning in guilt while I'm drowning in anger." But Daniel only shook his head, his voice breaking. "He's my brother. If I send him to jail, I lose him forever." I froze, the words slicing through me. "And what about me? If you do nothing, you might lose me forever." Silence fell between us like a hammer. The tension grew unbearable. My parents found out, through whispers, of course. Families always know how to spread bad news faster than good. My mother called in a fury. "You mean to tell me Daniel's brother stole from you and no one is doing a thing about it? That's your future, your honeymoon, your marriage." I had to hold the phone away as her voice rose. "Mom, please." "No," she cut me off. "Listen to me. If Daniel can't protect you now, how will he protect you later? Think about what kind of man you're marrying." Her words stung because they echoed thoughts I had tried to bury. 2 weeks later, I saw Ryan again. Not by choice. We ran into each other outside a convenience store. He was laughing with friends, a brand new leather jacket on his back, a roll of cash visible in his hand as he paid for beer. My body shook with rage. "You," I snapped, striding toward him. "How dare you show your face after what you did?" He smirked, as if this was all some kind of game. "Relax, princess. It's just money. You and Daniel will be fine. Just money." My voice cracked. "It was our future. And you stole it." Ryan shrugged, unbothered. "Future, past, it's all the same. You'll get over it." Something inside me snapped. I slapped him hard across the face, the sound ringing in the night air. His friends laughed awkwardly, shuffling away. Ryan's grin faltered, replaced by cold anger. "You've got a temper," he muttered, rubbing his cheek. "Maybe Daniel should think twice." I stepped closer, my voice low and sharp. "No, you should think twice. Because one day, your lies and your greed will catch up to you. And when they do, don't expect Daniel to save you. Not anymore." Then I walked away, my hands trembling, my heart pounding with both fury and a strange, liberating clarity. At home, I told Daniel what had happened. He buried his face in his hands, torn between shame and loyalty. "I don't know what to do," he admitted. "He's my brother. But I can see what this is doing to you. To us. I sat beside him, my voice steady. Then you have to choose. Him or me. Because I can't marry a man who lets his brother destroy our life without consequence. Tears slipped down his cheeks. I choose you. Always you. But please, don't make me put him in jail. He's family. I looked at him for a long moment, torn between compassion and anger. I didn't want to be the reason Daniel severed blood ties. But I also couldn't build my future on broken trust. Finally, I nodded. Then if you want me, we rebuild. Without Ryan. He is no longer welcome in our lives. No visits, no secrets, no chances. If you can promise me that, maybe we can move forward. Daniel hesitated, but then he reached for my hand. I promise. It wasn't easy. The honeymoon fund was gone. Our dreams of Bali or Paris vanished in a puff of smoke. Instead, we planned a smaller trip, something modest but ours. We worked even harder, saving again, this time with tighter locks and no one but us knowing where the money went. But more than the money, it was trust that needed rebuilding. And that took longer. Weeks of late-night talks, arguments, tears, and eventually, slow healing. I don't know if I ever fully forgave Ryan. I don't think I ever will. But I learned something from him, something Daniel and I both carried forward. Family doesn't mean unconditional trust. Family doesn't mean sacrificing your future for someone else's recklessness. Family is what you choose, who you protect, and who you build with. Ryan chose greed. Daniel chose me. And I chose to keep moving forward, scars and all. Months later, standing with Daniel on a quiet beach in a place far less glamorous than Bali, but just as meaningful, I realized something profound. The honeymoon wasn't about the destination. It was about survival, about weathering betrayal and still choosing each other. We laughed as the waves crashed at our feet, the salt spray stinging my skin like a baptism. Daniel wrapped his arms around me, whispering, "This is just the beginning." And for the first time since that lockbox was emptied, I believed him. Because though Ryan stole our fund, he didn't steal our love. And love, I realized, was the one thing you couldn't put a price on.